What up? My name is Jeremy Tyler, and this is my beautiful wife, Roxanne Tyler. And this is 10 with the Tylers. Roxanne, what? Why are we doing 10 with the Tylers? What does that mean?
The meaning behind that is 10 years.
All right, we're gonna do 10 questions that Roxanne and I came up with. I made 5, she made 5, because we're celebrating 10 years of marriage as of August 22nd, 2020. We've been together for 13 years, but married for 10.
Yes.
So, we're gonna
10
get
with
into
the 10.
it. We're gonna choose random ones. Each of us are gonna answer till we're all the way through 10 questions, right?
Let's do it.
All right, are you ready?
If you are.
I am. Go. You gotta answer first.
Okay. He thinks
This
it's
is
a treat.
Milo, by the way.
Okay.
It's your writing.
I know.
I told you.
Why does how we treat each other in our marriage matter as an example to others? That is a deep one. I wonder who wrote that question. So I believe how we treat each other matters because it's an example. Whether it's an example for our friends or for family members, I feel like it's still an example. And regardless of what age we are, we got together young.
Mm-hmm.
And
For sure.
even though we were young, I feel like there's still family members that are like looking up to us,
Mm-hmm.
even though they were older. And I feel like loving each other the best that we could is the best example of like a tangible way of people like seeing that.
No, but I agree, like, because in a way, at times I feel like it was pressure, but then I realized, like, I don't need to always focus on what, I don't know, like the outside world would think, because in a way we were kind of defining our own marriage and our own relationship, but then it would be hard for me because they'd be like, whether it's brothers, sisters, siblings, who's ever saying like, man, your example matters to me, or what you guys do, I look up to. I thought it was cool, but then I also realized like, couldn't always just make it appear beautiful. Like we had to make sure that our relationship was solid personally too, behind closed doors. So
Yeah.
I agree, baby.
Okay.
That was great.
Thank you. Ready?
Yep, my turn. All right, so I won't expand on every question. All right, I'll move back up.
Go.
All right, let's go. Let's see. How does unconditional love reveal itself in our marriage? I would say, because we said that we build our relationship off what Scripture says, and we want a foundational marriage that's in God, we also have to exercise that in our relationship, meaning that how God has had never-ending grace for us, although we're not perfect like Him, and I'm definitely not always quick to forgive right away like I should. We, right? Have an attitude every now and then. I do. But no, man. But like, I've just realized like it's super easy to always quote something from Scripture, but a whole different thing to like live it. And I think in our marriage, like that's a big piece that's also helped keep us together, is realizing like not only the other's flaws but our own. So for me, when I do things wrong, or later on when I realize I did it, or I treated you wrong, or said something I wasn't the sweetest, or didn't handle it the best, that's my opportunity to exercise grace. And when I don't, I can either really stretch out the anger between us or make it last longer than it needs to, when if I just forgave or apologized for my actions, it would speed things up. Granted that, of course, you quickly forgive me.
Give and take. But I think if we think about it in like God's, or trying to think about it like between our relationship with God, like because we have a relationship between you, me, and God, and then we have our own relationships that we try to have separately, right? And then if we have our own separate relationships with God, then how fast do I want Him to forgive me?
Yeah.
So then I try to tackle that in to like, okay, if I want God to forgive me that fast, then I want Jeremy to forgive me that fast. And then that means I have to forgive just as fast.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think that's something that we both try.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yes, ma'am.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn. It's your turn.
Winner, winner. Here, I'll feel that.
All right.
What is one advice you would give yourself on first year of marriage?
Like that we learned from it?
Yeah, just
Okay.
like any advice.
That's you. This one's you.
Oh, I answered? You answered.
No, what you pick, you answer.
Oh, I wrote this one and I was anticipating for you
I'll
to
answer
write.
it for you, baby.
Okay,
That's
go.
okay. No, but you got
Oh, okay. So, the one advice that I would give to myself.
Oh, so this is like to
Yeah.
you? Okay,
Yeah. It would be to like don't hold on to things, just in general. You know what I mean? Do you remember when I used to tell you like my family would say like don't be sissy lala? Sissy.
I think
lala.
so. If not, I definitely think you've used the term.
Don't be sissy lala. But just don't take things to heart. Like just let it be. If that's, I don't know. I feel like that's something that we've tried. But I feel like if I were to like go back, just don't take things like truly understand what the other person's trying to like say.
Yeah.
Versus what you think you're hearing.
Yeah. And I would say, I mean, I know some people, whether they're born into money or maybe they have money right out the gate where they're making good money. That wasn't the case for you and I, where we did have a lot of money.
Yeah.
But what I would say, this guy, oh my goodness. What I would say is that I remember when you were working at Tomio's and you were doing, was it a busser?
Yeah.
And one of the cooks, I think, he gave you advice about the importance of enjoying,
Yeah.
even when you don't have money. Like, that's actually a fun time, because when you look back on it, you'll really enjoy or appreciate where you came from.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know, what I would say to anyone or even to myself is like, man, right now is a time you need to really soak in. And even when it's hard, even when I had to walk to work, even when one of the cars wasn't working the best, our heater, or you had to climb over the seat, like, just really soak in every moment to the best of your abilities and make the most of it, because that's good too. Like,
Yeah.
the hard times was good for you and I. I feel like that was character building. I felt like it exposed certain things that maybe was within me that I had taken for granted when living with my dad or my mom, whatever. Like, certain things you can't just expect it to be handed to you, and know that it is going to get better. And no matter what it is, like, you'll make it through. Just don't give in.
It's
Don't
true.
give up.
Started
Yeah.
from the bottom.
Don't.
Now we're here.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh,
Go.
started from the bottom, now we're here. Doubts have been disintegrated, so have all my fears. So
Okay.
Okay. What role does God have in our marriage?
Is that me or you?
This is me. Whoever picks,
Oh, okay.
they shall reply.
It's hard for me to understand roles. Okay, go.
There's no roles in my life. What role does God play in our marriage? I would say He is the most crucial, but having integrity, I need to make sure that He's in it more.
Oh.
So I need to depend on Him more. We can, but I would say, especially this last couple of years, you've challenged me more to elevate and step up with God. And I would say He is the most important. I just need to treat Him as such. And
Yeah.
because like you with your devotional life, when COVID first hit, like FaceTiming all your girlfriends doing devotionals, and I'm like, I went to Bible college, but it's like, it don't matter like that. You can memorize 1,000 scriptures, but if you're not practicing it, living it, you know, like, and if anything, like we say, our marriage is a covenant. God has given us the greatest covenant of all. So, like, giving us new life, I would just say that He is supposed to be, should be, and is the most crucial.
Yeah.
And as much craziness has happened right now, I would say the good that's came out of it is it has forced me to go nowhere else but to Him ultimately. So no matter what, where we draw inspiration from, making our marriage work, I feel like there's this extended grace that's like really just been obvious in our lives, and I'm super grateful for that. I feel like
I agree.
God's revealed Himself all the more. It's nuts, like more crazy things may be happening, but I don't know why. I just have this confidence that it will work out regardless. Yeah. He is the most important, especially if you want to make a relationship work.
I think it's like, I mean, we always say like the foundation is like key. Don't build a foundation on sand. You want to build like the concrete. And I feel like that is like our concrete foundation. Mm-hmm. And I think it took a little while for us to figure that out, and like, where does that land? Like, how are we supposed to do this? And then it ended up getting easier as we got older and understanding like our relationship with God. Mm-hmm. But I feel like definitely the foundation, like just like if you think about like building a house, like you have like the wood and then you put in like the siding and then you do the painting and everything. And I feel like we're the people that are supposed to be like decorating the inside of our house to like make it a home. Mm-hmm. But God is like that foundation. Mm-hmm. And without that, we really don't have like a leg to stand on. So.
That's good. You should write poetry. That was solid.
I'm married to a rapper.
Me?
What?
All right.
Okay.
Your turn. What?
May the odds be ever in your
It's quoting tonight.
Okay. What's the funniest moment with each other?
I don't know. You got a lot. I don't know. The funniest? That's you.
I wrote the question, but I didn't think of anything.
There's nothing in mind.
I know. I feel like we have a lot of little moments where it's super funny. Mm-hmm. But the most recent one, actually, no. Oh, gosh. Well, let me think.
What?
I don't know.
Wait, were you just saying that
so
and hoping
when I
someone
wrote
would
this,
land?
I felt like I was supposed to read the question and then you were supposed to answer it in hopes that you would tell me a funny story. But a funny story from me to you.
From me to you.
Do you remember when I don't know what happened with our car. Something happened with our car.
You're gonna have about them. Someone trying to get out?
No.
Oh, okay, cool, that's fine.
Where your dad had just bought you like a winter coat, the brown one, a brown jacket, that was not cute. It looked like South Pole days.
That's cold. That's messed up. Man.
I had South Pole jacket, but yours was just.
I was just trying to make.
Anyways, you wore it with your backpack, and it was snowing. You
think this is way too funny.
You look like the abominable.
I was just trying to make money. Oh my gosh, abominable. You're so messed up. South Pole?
Or okay, another funny moment.
No, I thought it was one.
No, it's recent.
Roast to Michael Scott. Nope.
My favorite thing to do to you is to scare you in the house.
I'm not legit scared. I just play along.
He's scared, guys.
God, it's like you already know yourself. Oh my God.
Anyways, I will hide in the closets. I get hidden in the closet, in the kitchen, underneath, clothes in our bed, behind the bathroom door, in the laundry room, and just scaring you for whatever reason. It makes me laugh so much.
You take great pleasure.
So much.
Oh my gosh, you need help.
It's the best. Okay, funniest moment from you to me.
Man, I'm genuinely, let's see here. Ooh, I love it. We watched, it was a pretty dang dark movie. We watched, I don't know what I named the movie, it's pretty freaky. But when me and Chris,
Strangers.
my younger brother, yes, we played a prank on you and my sister. This was pretty twisted, but hey, I was thinking how twisted you were, then I thought about this story. So played a story where me and Chris made it seem like we had left the house and made all the shut off the power at my dad's house. My dad like lives in the sticks, like in the sticks where
Battleground.
But I'm saying where like there's battleground, but then he's out there, outer limits. Like, so if you were to try to, oh, that just sounds dark, get help, it would take a while to get there. But I live to protect her. But we turned off the power in the house, and you and Erica, my little sister, ran in the bathroom, and we were like throwing little cans by the car. We came inside and we're like knocking on the door, and when she replied, like, "Oh, stop playing, Jeremy, stop playing, Chris," we didn't reply.
No.
Yeah, that was great. No, what? That's what happened.
No, that's what
Oh,
happened.
yeah, and then
It's
she
just
tried to like, would you try to do like spray us with hairspray or something like that? Remember when you opened the door and then tried to run back in the bathroom?
We were trying to throw things at you guys.
Oh yeah, and it started, we knocked on the window downstairs, which is pretty scary too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. That's one of the many funny moments. We don't only scare each other, but
We do
it's
that.
pretty,
Is
we
it
do that a
weird
lot.
that we like to scare each other?
It's our thing.
Okay.
Here it is, 10 years
Go.
strong, right? It's all honestly
10.
to strengthen you. 13 if you really get technical. Was it you picked that last one?
Yes.
Okay. Why is our marriage so important to you? I thought about this, and for anybody who isn't married or doesn't have someone with you, like genuinely, I pray grace over you and peace and no anxiety, because one of the biggest things that this has helped me with is after a long day of work, it is nice to have someone to come home to, specifically like someone you love. So I would say like the companionship, and I genuinely believe that it is a solid representation like of what Christ wants, like an actual relationship where you are there for someone, where you learn from them, where you grow, where you become a better you because that person exists. So I think that like there's certain times where I may have wanted to give up, whether it was a long time ago when I had gotten sick, and thank God like now I'm good with health and stuff, but back then, you know, if I didn't come home and you were there, I don't know how I would have dealt with it. Just having honesty about that. Like, I don't know, but I'm extremely grateful because, and I have obviously amazing parents, but it was frustrating when we were younger and they got a divorce. Like, it sucked, and still, again, absolutely amazing. Like, I love them with all my heart, amazing mentors. But I would say that, you know, it's not like you do this comparison thing, but I knew that it was important, and there were just going to be certain things we had to learn along the way, whether it was seeking out help or getting guidance on how to like handle things. Like, we couldn't bottle them up, and that's, I could go on and on, but I would say the companionship, but also it's really stretched me as a person. Things I don't want to talk about. It challenges me. It's thinking that I could handle things one way and then that we were going to last, but then realizing that if I don't make certain changes, we may not. So it stretched me incredibly. Marriage has made me, I believe, a much better version of myself and shown me what I'm capable of. And I think that it's taught me the importance of, I thought I was transparent, would try to pull that off of my music. Oh, I talked about this story, but with you, it's like taking ripped off a bigger layer of me, I guess. So, yeah, it's a little bit of everywhere, but yeah. Why is marriage important to you?
Marriage is important to me. Just commitment overall. And it can be scary. It can be in your face. It can be good. It can be just all these different types of emotions. And I'm glad that we're able to be committed to another. And it's important.
Hey man, that was beautiful.
Thank you. Oh, your turn.
Wait. No, it's you. You gotta pick another.
Okay, great.
Go for it. I believe you.
Jeez, this one's long. What has been one thing you felt that has been consistent throughout our marriage? I answer that.
One thing you felt like, is it like a feeling? What's one consistent feeling you've had, or like a thing you felt? I don't know.
Just
You
what
came up with
has
that
been.
one.
I know
Let's
I
see.
did.
Let's see
What has been one thing you felt that has been consistent throughout our marriage? I think our humor
Boom.
has. Don't take it because I already said it, so you have to come up with something else.
Mm-hmm.
But having a sense of humor with everything, I feel like has been a consistent thing for us. Even if we have the crappiest of days, we can definitely rely on the humor. And I think God gave that to us.
For sure.
So
For
we
sure.
can be
For
happier people in dark moments.
I agree.
But
I agree.
yeah, I feel like that has been good. It's helped us out. It's been good. It's been great. It has led us to have just like our sadder moments together be so good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm grateful for my humor. And yours.
Of course.
Right.
It has expanded my ability as a comedian to really just grow. Look at you. I haven't even dropped the bomb.
Okay,
I
go.
haven't even dropped the mic and you're laughing. That's a skill set. That is, the funny thing is,
Yeah.
even if, no, I haven't even said it. But even if other people don't find us funny, we still will laugh.
I laugh
And
at
I think
myself
that's
at work.
I was talking about us together, but that's good. That's great. That's great, Roxanne.
Carried on.
But honestly, I used to early on focus only on, like when I would tell my testimony, youth group moments, like I would only be like pain, drugs, gangs, trials, fight. Okay, what I'm saying is I would only focus, even when I tell my testimony, I'd mainly focus on, this is the bad things that happened, this is all I'm going to talk about, but God saved me. But now it's like, there's been resilience, but I've learned, like, I feel like resilience has been a constant theme from our pain. So even with the jokes, like when you do those things, I feel like it's not like you're making light of a bad situation. It's our own way of dealing with things. And with resilience, we've had some extremely, extremely hard times in our lives, but the resilience has built us to be more confident with our decisions, with like our faith, with friendships, with changing the way that we view the world. Because I feel like when certain things happen in life, there's a route you can go where you become extremely bitter, pessimistic, the world sucks, which it can, and evil sucks, but it's a reality, and that could be your main focus. Or you could grow as human beings, have faith, and then realize, which I've honestly been realizing all the more, especially even now, like, I'm not the only one going through things.
Yeah.
And some things can cut so deep. Like, honestly, if we didn't have God, I genuinely don't know how mentally we'd get through certain things. Like, I truly have no ideas. Because if someone, when they always ask me what's the difference with what we believe, it's that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. Like, that's the one thing I have seen, that God has remained constant in what we believe. It isn't just to pound you over the head like we're better than you.
Yeah.
If anything, it's like that we're not, like, and we can't do this by ourselves. I try to do all these push-ups. I try to find and drown myself in my music, and Jeremy's this, Jeremy's that. But then now I appreciate my health entirely different. Now I appreciate our marriage entirely different. There's so much we've had loss, but it could be so much worse. And not only that, just we're not alone. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I would think I was. And if not, just be like, hey, I'm on this island by myself. But it's like, no, I'm married. I have you. Like, I have God. He's never ending. And I would just say that in our marriage, I would say resilience. Like, we have learned to overcome things, but not only overcome them, when bad things do happen, dealing with them differently.
Yeah.
Not running strictly to a vice, not running straight to isolation, but running to God. Like, this has taught us. I do not know why, like, or I do not know how I would continue on if it weren't for Him and His grace and that resilience He gives us, because in our marriage now, just no matter what, I'm just not afraid of what's to come. And I'm confident that God will come through regardless. So
Yeah.
I would just say resilience for sure is our marriage. Well,
I like it. Good.
is it my turn?
Good.
I don't even talk that much.
No.
What is something you cherish about me? I like me specifically. Let me think. There's
Don't
a
think
lot.
too
I'm not
hard.
just saying a lot because I want to make it appear as if there's a lot. There really is. But no, I would say, I'm trying to think of the specific word, but like, I want to say your sternness, but sometimes I feel like that has a bad connotation, but that's not what I mean. Like, I like how,
Tell me.
regardless of the group you're in, I'm serious. If there's 20 of us and all 19 people disagree with what Roxanne is saying, but you believe that, you'll stick to it. Which is important. Doesn't always mean you're right, but I feel like that's how people like who have great ideas or like have this vision for something or a dream or an invention they want to make. The reason why hear me out.
I'm
The reason
listening.
why those break through is because they stuck to their guns even when everybody else said that's a garbage thought. That's a stupid belief. That's crazy. Like, why do you think that's a good idea? Because they don't see it. Like, and I think that that's an awesome thing about you, Rox, because like there's been times when, like, God, man, everybody's like saying this. Why is Roxanne trying to push against the crowd? It's not because, although I know that you do like to, if everybody says don't, you say I will. But I feel like with you, it's dope because that's important, especially like when people talk about having a backbone. Like you do, like,
Yeah.
and while I don't think you should depend on your spouse to fill whatever holes you may have, like me as a man, I shouldn't be like, oh, you fill this hole because even if you're alone, stripped naked, you should be able to be good with God. But I will say that you are that strength. Like when I first was gonna go rap on stage and last minute, the first time ever, like 10 plus years ago, I was like, I'm not going on that stage. You're like, Jeremy, you said that you believe God chose you for this moment. You said that you believe this is like a skill set you had. Like, you believed in me and you were the backbone, like right in that moment, like, dude, go for this. I wanted to leave the room.
Yeah.
And there were people, and it's like, you have that about you, this sternness or this like willingness to just keep going regardless. And I like that about you, that even if everybody's against you and you truly believe this ideal, whatever it is, you stick to your guns. Like, and that's dope because a lot of people waver and give in. But like, literally, like, scripture even talks about like being double-minded. Like, sometimes over here, sometimes over, like, you're like, no, this is it. Like, and I think that's dope, Rox. I think that you have that about you that's really good because a lot of people give in quickly to peer pressure.
Yeah.
And you don't. And I appreciate that about you.
What was the question?
I did talk a little bit. We're almost there. Dos más. What is something you cherish about me, Jeremy?
I like that you were how like it says like I don't know who
What's it
they
say?
is or
What is
it
that?
is like opposites attract.
Mm.
We're a lot of like who we are opposites,
Mm-hmm.
but it keeps me grounded.
Mm.
So like when I'm hyped, you know when to bring me down. When I'm upset, you know how to like make me happy. If I am super nervous, you know how to like calm me down. So it's nice to have that opposite to keep me grounded for things. So yeah, I definitely need that
Mm-hmm.
in life. Yeah,
How are we opposite?
because we are.
Oh, there you go.
No,
Like how?
like you are more. When we met,
Mm-hmm.
I was more, I mean, I'm still hard-headed, but I feel like I've opened up, or I wasn't as emotional.
Don't.
I was not as
Yeah.
emotional, but you would always, you were more emotional. More emotional. But I feel like you've been able to help me to capture emotion. You've been able to help me realize like my relationship with God individually and together in our marriage to
You are more sentimental photos.
yeah,
You love
I would
them now.
never keep
Yeah.
those.
No. Why do we need those?
There was a time
Paper
when-
memories left.
I still don't really like stuffed animals.
I don't get them anymore.
I know, thank you. I know, I'm grateful for that. Remember our extra spare room? Oh. Remember? We had an extra spare room just full of.
Okay. We didn't have an extra spare room.
Do you remember
with
that
just
big
stuff in.
one that you won?
Yeah, I won it.
Do you remember?
Basketball. Was it a
Yeah.
basketball? I don't remember.
No, it was at the carnival. And you won it, and I felt so bad because you spent so much money.
Okay, see, that literally defeats the winning part. That just like,
You
oh,
won!
you just kept shooting.
No!
I have a great
you won,
shot.
and then I had to break your heart and tell you that I hated stuffed animals.
What a perfect time.
Anyways,
But there's that sternness, right?
The opposites. Here we are.
Mhm.
We're opposites and alike at the same
Heart
time.
still broken to this day.
We're the oldest. We
We
both
are.
want the last word.
Okay, here's something.
But
yeah. All right. Did you pick the last one or did I?
I think you did.
Spend so much money. It's crazy.
How has marriage made you a better you?
I feel like it kind of plays into one of the. Oh well.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Go ahead. Let's see if you can get creative. We only got one more after this.
I feel like this kind of like rolled into like what I was just saying. I feel like we come from families that are very similar but not similar at the same time.
That's
And
a fact.
I feel like just the last one.
That's it.
I put this one in here.
Oh, well, why don't you just leave the next one in there? That's probably the little.
Okay. So
Wait, is this the one you just answered? Or are
Yeah.
these all the old ones?
yeah.
Like, you-
I didn't want to hold them. So the question was, how has it made me a better me?
Yeah, how's marriage made you a better you?
You. Because we come from different backgrounds, and going to counseling has helped because it has really identified like what we both brought in, and I feel like we both had a lot of things brought into a family and to like just previous things that we've gone through in life, and then trying to mix that into our family, me and you and Milo. And I feel like we just been able to sharpen each other.
For sure.
With the scripture.
Iron sharpens iron.
Amen.
Boom. Amen.
Yes. And you can finish my sentences
Boom.
just like
That
Frozen.
and Frozen.
Yeah. Anyways, but I feel like we've been able to really like.
What? Go. Seriously, I'm listening.
No, just that we've been able to. What are you doing?
I'm not doing it. Seriously, I'm really
Okay.
into what you're saying.
Okay.
Go.
You make me lose track. Frozen.
How has marriage made you a better you?
Oh, because it has made me a better me, because I've been able to, what we brought in from outside of our families and identifying that in our marriage with counseling has, I felt, made me more aware of who I am and who I am still being married, but individually.
Yeah.
And I still feel like, I said it before, like we have our relationship with me, you, and God, and then I have my relationship with me and God, and I feel like I've been able to identify who I am with God, and then being able to still have that with me, you, and God. And I feel like having those open conversations with you and being able to almost in a way grow up with you has helped so much to make mistakes when we were younger and to grow from those and then learn our lessons and make better decisions. Still have our days where we're like, oh, we shouldn't have done that, or we should have done something different, but it's definitely helped identify my relationship with, I feel like it all has to do with God.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, we understand who we are together and then trying to break away and then coming back together. I feel like that has been a good thing that I learned.
Was I supposed to finish your sentence on that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's a confidentity.
I don't think that's a word.
No, confident and identity together. Confident in your identity. I just off the top. All right. No, but what I'm gonna say, it's gonna be because it's gonna be a spoken word.
Yep.
Speaking that. But seriously, like, okay, I agree because I didn't realize how like broken this identity was. Right. Like when you met me, I felt like also my struggle for finding a middle ground just got more and more and more evident. Where like, I don't know if early on I had beef with someone or they upset me. Like it was either I wouldn't say nothing, then get angry, or say something right away and want to fight them. Or if early on when you met me, before like we came, I would say, I guess that's not marriage, but before we like came to Christ, I do feel like I know I was a bit reckless, right? And then like when we came to Christ and really dedicated our lives, then the identity became, like you were saying, who am I? Like, who am I in God? Who am I with you? Who am I individually? Like, I had to figure out there can be middle ground, and I think marriage exposes that middle ground of, dude, just, there are times it's possible where both of us can be, it's not about being right or wrong, it's just about, yeah, you may be right, I may be right, but like, let's come together on this and figure out a plan where we can both grow. One person doesn't, like how you said the last word. My mom literally, well, you should be a lawyer, because I would follow her through the door just to argue, and it's like,
Really?
I know you wouldn't think that about me, right?
Very every day.
Quickly. Are you saying that because I probably told you that 30 times?
No, because you like to have the last word.
I do, but
Okay,
that's a fact. No, you're right. But I just think about the importance of like getting to that point where you're like, dude, okay, fine. Like with myself, like Jeremy, chill. It's cool. Like it ain't about that. So it's weird because I feel like God took us from, well, just angry at the world all the time, like being reckless. But then in our marriage, we almost had to create, or God helped us find our identity as we were growing together, which is an interesting place to be, especially how young we were, because, but you're still young, just growing together, it's like gnawing away at those imperfections and understanding that we are imperfect. And I think for me, I just learned a lot more about myself, and it was funny because I always felt like I wore my heart on my sleeve during transparent, but sometimes, obviously, like many of us will pick and choose what we want to be transparent about, and then I wouldn't admit that I had certain things going on. And when we wanted to do counseling early on before marriage, people were like surprised, like, oh, you guys already having issues? But it wasn't that. It was like, no, dude, we just don't have all the answers. And we know not everybody does, but it helped us a lot to do that because we got to know one another. And that was one of the first places that showed, oh, you can have difference of opinion and you don't have to walk away with the last word, which I'm still working on to this day. Like, I don't have all the answers, but something in there just says I do, so I'm trying to figure that one out. But maybe when we're like 200 years old. I'm going to, oh no.
It's a long time.
Okay, that's fair.
Older.
But in the Bible, okay. All right. But for real, like I would just say, I found and learned the importance of finding that middle ground. That the last word doesn't have to always be something given to me, and I still work at it. Sure, earlier today we had something. You're like, dang, this brother wants the last word. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's helped me find my identity.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad I can do that for you.
Wow, look at you, just moving my life. God has really.
Is this one yours? Yeah.
Does the Bible talk about sarcasm? I should.
Oh, I'm sure it's somewhere
It does.
there.
It's not bad. Is it me or you?
It's you.
How has being married helped you? Ooh, wow. I think I thought of this. How has being married helped you better understand God's love?
Oh.
Do you want to answer?
Do you? No, this is the rule. Remember, you ask the
I got
question,
the
you
oh.
answer.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
How has being married helped you better understand God's love? No, I think once I realized that how it says that we're the bride of Christ is the church, I think they're very specific for a reason. And it's like, you are my bride, right? So, and why would God, like the rib of Adam, like why so close? Why a piece of that person? Like I realized that it's made me want to love you. Like we talked about unconditional love earlier, it's made me want to love deeper and exercise the same exact love that he had for us, for you. So it's helped me better understand his love, because when I read scripture and I see how he loves me, and then I know that it says we're the bride of Christ, I'm like, oh, that's how I'm supposed to be loving my wife as well. So I cared for you. I thought you were beautiful when I met you, you're cute, but like what's gonna sustain beyond that? And that's the love part. And for me, understanding God's love is revealed when you forgive me, especially like early on we had so many bumps, but like there was just this thing of like, no, we're gonna make this work. And I think that for me, the way I've understood God's love is the forgiveness portion, right? Like where, you know, people may see or maybe like, oh, you forgave for that, or she forgave for that, or Jeremy but it's like the whole picture is representing God and how he loves us. So if I'm going to do that, that means that my love isn't limited to if Roxanne's like, okay, you can spend $50 on a studio session. Like it's not, but that's like a material thing. It's dope. I love it. I love recording music, but like, what about us? If I didn't have those dollars, if we didn't buy each other things, am I still going to be grateful for you? Am I still going to appreciate you? I should. Like, as our bodies change, and you look better with it, just to be quick. But as our bodies change and when we get older and when the wrinkles come, like, what? It's going to happen, baby. It's going to happen. But beyond that, like, is it deeper than that? Like, it should be. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. So understanding God's love is, even yet while I was a sinner, he still loved me then. Knowing that, so if it's so extreme to me that he could have such extreme love for us, how am I going to go around sharing this message of love, hope, and happiness and joy, and then yet not live that way? And I think for me, understanding God's love is revealed through making mistakes and then being loved by you regardless of those mistakes. No matter how big, no matter how small. It doesn't mean I go out and just be an idiot and just intentionally make these decisions where I know there's repercussion for them, and no matter what, Roxanne's gonna love me for, because just like we shouldn't want to break God's heart, like I don't want to break your heart and know, okay, it may break her heart, that's the cost of this, but she'll forgive me. Like, no, like the goal is to still try my hardest to be a better husband. And I believe that it also talks about just, you know, being the head of the household. I need to protect you. I need to be there for you. I need to make sure I work. I need to make sure I'm living my life to the very best of my ability. So, yeah, and that, I think there's a lot that comes with it, but I just feel like you have this, even if mentality of love. Even if he does, I still love him.
Yeah.
So.
So sorry, the question one more time.
How has marriage helped you better understand God's love?
Just being unconditional and really understanding what that means. Like, I mean, as a kid, we don't have any kids, but like as a kid growing up, having unconditional love and what that meant, like we look back and like, oh, you know, my mom should have like loved me even if I like acted this way, or like we always say like our what ifs, you know, like what if our kid is this way, or we should love them no matter what the circumstance is, or whatever thing that we think, a situation that we think of. And I feel like understanding that the unconditional part of it is such a hard concept for me, even when I was younger to now, even like now, like, okay, I need to be understanding of this whole situation, even if it's a good day. Like, okay, I'm gonna love Jeremy even more because, or I'm gonna love him because, you know, he got me a Red Bull and beef jerky and let me have corn dogs for the day.
For the day. Yes, ma'am.
But just understanding like those little things and having that same love of an incredibly good day to a day where like I woke up in a bad mood, I am just short on like my temper, and I'm just like short answering and I don't want to talk, and the way you're breathing is bothering me.
My existence?
Just the breathing part. But if I need to understand that I need to love you on a good day and I need to love you on a bad day, and to have that same type of love, it needs to be like very evident. It's shown and proven to me individually, and has proven in our marriage, that unconditional love, and being able to really like live that out is so much easier said than done. And it's something that I am still trying to grasp and trying to understand. Not only, and that was the question within our marriage, but living that out as a human in a workplace, and our friends and our families, like trying to really grasp what that means, and to love someone how I would love them on a good day versus a bad day. So, yeah.
I know.
Cheers.
10 years strong. 10.
No, 10.
10.
Not 10. 10
10
años.
años. It's just 10
years. 10 años.
10 años.
You look a little confused.
No. Mi reina. Mi esposa.
Reina.
Wow.
Reina.
It's my queen. I couldn't even take that.
Last word.